So we asked the guys to play teachers, and these are the grades that they have given for Chelsea's season. Frank, Mario and Ale may be a little generous with B's here.
What?
Gab, definitely
What?
not so generous with a C. So let's start with some of the positivity. Frank, why is it a B for you?
It's hard to explain. You know, I see the club, I see the players, what they expect to do, and I say when you finish sixth, you play one final. When you at the beginning of the season started to struggle, and at some point in the season you were like 13, 14. And you end up, being sixth at the end of the season, qualifying for Europe. It's not that bad. It's not that bad because I consider the level of the squad, what Craig called the shamble of the club, and overall, you say, well, it's not that bad because you don't expect that at the end of the day. We saw last season what happened. We knew that it would be the same, and it's better. So they have to be encouraged in that matter. I don't know where we're going to go. We're going to talk about the future during the show. But let's say I want to be positive, optimistic, and it's why I put a B.
Is that the same opinion of you then, Mario? You've picked a B as well. Is it because you wanted to be positive and optimistic?
No, I made it clear from the beginning of the season. I said, if they make it into Europe, it's a big advantage. And so it's similar to what Frank said. But I also said that. I said, when people look at a team like that, when I came, of course, when Abramovich came in, and it was a whole similar situation that was happening when, Boli and, Ekbali came in. It was similar. You had to rebuild and restructure and all this going on. And it's unsettlement so much. You're in the team. You almost you want to, hear what the owners say, but then they come in the dressing room, they give their point of view, but then they walk away. They're not going to be part of the building because of the team, literally how they're going to play. So I knew they were going to be in a difficult situation. But then you see what happens. Then you're 12th in the league, then you get it to 6th, now you get to Europe. And I'm sure people will talk about what they're going to do next. Okay, I don't want to, run too fast, but I just want to say the 6th position into Europe is a big achievement regarding a new squad that you don't know anybody about and just have to make a team. And that's what kind of Pochettino had to do.
Ali, we just heard Chilwell there talking about all the changes. Did that contribute to you giving them a B, those factors?
Well, you're saying that we're being optimistic by giving this team, and it almost felt like you said you almost are thinking this is charity work that we're giving B's out just for the sake of it.
B's a pass.
Well, no, I can tell you this. When I'm giving out this grade, I'm looking for improvement. And so I actually went and looked at the numbers. So beyond opinion, I looked at factual numbers. And this team was 19 points better this season than they were last year. In terms of goals scored, this team were in the 30s last season. They scored 77 goals this season. They won 7 more games than they did last year. So that's improvement. That's actually something that you can hang on to and say, yes, actually, in results, in performances, the team was better than what it was last season. And so if you're seeing improvement, it may not be a major leap, but it is an improvement and it's significant enough for me to say, yeah, you know what? Actually, this team seems to be moving in the right direction. What would have been an A in my mind for Chelsea this season? Qualifying to Champions League, being in the top 4. I imagine that would be an A. Well, they're not far from it. So a B seems like the right score. It seems like the right grade, not charity, Kay. Be respectful of your professors, please. Thank you very much.
Gab, so why are you being so negative with a C, huh?
Well, first of all, C is a passing grade. I look at this a little bit differently. Yeah, results are important, and there's no question, Ali's right. They've improved tremendously over last season. The numbers speak for themselves. But we're grading the club and where the club are compared to 12 months before. And this is not a judgment of merit because it was beyond their control. But one of the goals this season was to go and develop these young players and get them to coalesce. Because a number of players, not anybody's fault, were injured, including a lot of the really big signings, Romeo Lavia, Wesley Fofana, we heard Chilwell mentioning Reece James. Well, Chilwell's hardly played, Reece James has hardly played. they weren't able to do that. Now, it's not anybody's fault that they weren't able to do that, but it just didn't happen. So all this information that you were going to gather this year, that, you know, Stuart and Winstanley and the nerds and the planners with the young players and so on, all of that information that you were hoping to get, you were not able to get. Now, I repeat, it's not your fault that these guys got hurt, but that is a big chunk, I think, of what was missing. The fact that they have to start with a new manager, also a negative. Doesn't mean they should have kept Pochettino necessarily, but clearly that is also something that I think, in my mind, affects the grade. Obviously, they finished very, very strongly. We saw some, you know, they uncovered a gem in Cole Palmer, Jackson improved, and so on. All these things are positives. But when you look at the bigger picture of the long-term project of what the club as a whole want to do, unfortunately, they were not able to do it this year because so many big pieces, Nkunku, the other obvious one, weren't a part of it.